Welcome to the Tech Show. We're talking about Boss making a comeback and a new Boss nut.
Oh yeah, we've got a new Cotic rocket and, it's hard to say, we've also got new Element from Rocky Mountain.
And loads more.
Right, we're talking about Boss French fancies coming back into the MTB market. Owen, when were they in the MTB market?
Good question. I mean, Oliver Bossard, which is Boss, and I guess he is a boss of Boss, but he developed suspension fork in the 90s, sort of like about 92-ish. Ooh. And it wasn't amazing, but he got in touch with some people who were amazing, and that was a little French brand called Sun.
Whoa.
Exactly. So the brand was kind of small, but the team that was developed off of it, and you know, effectively off the back of Oliver Bossard, was this incredible powerhouse team called Sun, and they went through lots of iterations, but they brought on a couple of big name racers, including the greatest of all time.
Yeah, Anne Caro, she was on there, Anne Caroline Chausson. It was the Sun Chippy team, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was,
and of course, Nico Vullios.
Yeah, he was also...
Not bad, the other greatest
the other one, 10-time
Cedric
champ.
Grazia would have been on that team.
Yeah, he was, and loads more. I think Gachet was like the first rider that helped develop there.
Yeah,
it was also.
Oh my God,
I feel like he was also a world champ.
Yeah.
So he went off from developing suspension bikes and suspension to do rally cars and rally raid bikes. So these like Paris-Dakar things. And he made lots. So they've made a comeback. They've got a really good range. They've been away, I'm going to say about 10 years, I think.
Whoa.
But it got me thinking about, well, what other brands I'd like to see return? And mountain biking's got this wonderful history where we've had really rapid growth and we've had loads of brands come up and you're like, that's a must-have brand. And then very quickly it's all melted away and then we've gone,
where did they go?
Exactly, where did they go?
Yeah.
And this isn't any particular order, it's just as they sort of came out of my brain of what brands they were there that we want to come back. And I guess Kona is on the top of my list, even though they're still there. There was a moment this year, where they weren't, and where everyone was a bit kind of awkward, but they're back.
But interestingly, they've been bought by the original owners and are on their way back to being what they originally were. So that's kind of happening. You know what one springs to my mind, and breaks my heart a little bit, Nuke Proof. Yeah, they were great friends of ours here at GMBN and GMBN Tech, and I really miss them. I feel like we were in the golden years of Nuke Proof as well.
Agreed, because Nuke Proof was a brand that it's the second iteration, and because they made hubs back in the day where they had like carbon shell and alloy, and they made, I think Doddy did a video with one of their bikes where it had like a linkage fork with a shock inside the headset, but it was a really golden age. Like the new Nuke Proof was amazing. They had World Cup downhill wins, they had Enduro overall title wins. They had so much. It was amazing.
They had Sam Hill and Blake Sampson at the same time.
I mean,
Incredible.
What other brand was there? For me, I've got that nostalgia vibe, and I think Onza.
Now, when you told me about Onza the other day, I instantly think Onza Trials bikes, but that's not really Onza, is it?
No, for me, it's kind of funny tyres called porcupines.
Yes.
Which you could get in white. I never actually saw them in the rubber. Bar ends.
Yes.
Really nice grips.
Yeah.
I mean, not ergonomic at all. They were actually quite uncomfortable. And they were slide on, so they really weren't very good. But they had a cute little cutout to work with your grip shift.
Yes.
And that, for me, Grip Shift is a brand.
Grip Shift one that come back. I mean,
I'd like that to come back.
Would you?
SRAM
he obviously
Grip
never
Shift.
used it.
No, I've got it on my pizza bike. I've got a 2x10 with a front mech. It's kind of good.
When I was sponsored by Grip Shift, I used to have a Grip Shift on this side for my 6 gears on the back. And then one on this side that obviously didn't do anything because I was on a trials bike. And we didn't even have a front drive.
But you still had one? Oh, that's great.
I still had one because all the colours, wasn't it? You could match
you could slide the grips on. I guess the nostalgia vibe goes even further back. So one of the bikes that I think as a brand would be great to see come back is Cunningham Bikes. There's lots of history in there. It's really early brand. They made sort of like cutting edge aluminium bikes, and they really like paved the way. I feel like sort of unknown. Like everyone's heard of the Gary Fishers, the Keith Bontragers, the Gary Kleins, which are all other brands that I'd love to see come back.
Klein, wow. Imagine a Klein, if they could bring the feel of Klein forward to this time in mountain biking. Oh my goodness, that would be amazing.
Brief mini history, because I can't do anything without talking about a mini history. Gary Klein was a really good engineer and developed some of the first big aluminium tubed frames. Similar time frame to Cunningham. Famously, he had some really good adverts, and probably more famously, incredible races and wild paint jobs.
Yeah.
But it's beyond paint jobs. There's lots of innovation on the bike. So he was using sort of press fit bottom brackets, bigger headset standards. He famously did a fuselage setup where they had an integrated fork, bar and stem, and they were wildly light. I'm not sure if they're mega comfy, but
I don't know, they were great. I always just remember and loved the image of Tinker Juarez racing on Klein before he went over to Volvo.
Of course, Volvo Klein back again. Klein, Bontrager and Gary Fisher were all bought by Trek. Gary Fisher bikes continued a little bit, but then sort of just got absorbed. And Bontrager, I think lots of people might know them as sort of like a tyre brand and a parts brand, but actually, like, Keith was, as well as developing the first carbon fibre, like the Kestrel full suspension bike, which then led on to RockShox happening, he also had a really nice range of steel bikes that were really robust. They've got stickers instead of paint jobs, so you could switch them out, and they're powder coated, and they've got gussets. I'd really like one. Getting a bit rose tinted and emotional.
What about parts? Is there any bike parts you'd like to see make a comeback?
That is a very good, apart from grip shift, which already mentioned, I think that'd be great. So, it's a Wilderness Trail product, or WTB. It was called Grease Guard, and you may have seen it. There were these little sort of orangey rings on. They did headsets and bottom brackets, and they did hubs. And effectively, you kind of move this rubber seal out of the way, and you could put a grease gun on, and you could just put more grease in. It was great.
Right.
I know, it gets back to grease and nerdiness.
It's really nerdy.
I think there's one other product that I think it's more that I feel like I missed out. And maybe people out there have got this product and they can tell me, am I missing out? Is it really amazing?
What is it?
The Trust fork.
Oh, yeah.
Wild linkage fork.
Yeah. I really liked it. I thought it looked amazing, actually, and it's a real shame it's gone away.
Yeah.
So close. It
Maybe
seems so
it'll make
recent.
a comeback. Yeah.
I think it would be great. I think it would be really great. But it worked.
Yeah. I mean, that's just my brain dump, which might be quite painful for people, but hopefully not. Let me know which of your favourites I've mentioned, and let us know which things that you want to brought back. Like, which brands should have a full comeback?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Okay, first up in the news is the Caliber Boss Nut. COVID nearly killed it, but the Boss Nut is back. After 4 years out, it's been reworked with this new iteration. As with the old model, this one is a hardcore, shorter travel bike. It's moved up from a 130mm front and rear to a 140 front, 135mm rear. Now a 29er in medium, large and XL, and a 27.5 in small and extra small. It's got a 64.5 degree head angle, steeper 78 degree seat angle. Reach runs from 420mm on the XS up to 500 across the XL. The OG didn't have a dropper, but now all sizes do.
Nice.
Lovely. It's got RockShox suspension, Shimano cues, and from Go Outdoors for £1,499.
Yeah, that's good value.
Good price.
Yeah,
good
isn't
price.
It? Okay, I've got the new Cotic Rocket.
Well done.
It's a tricky one to say. So, it's an all-new bike. It's UK Steel Stalwarts. Cotic have designed an all-new version of the Rocket. So we'll hammer through some of the cool stuff first. So it's all handmade in the UK, which is pretty good. Fiveland Bikes make the steel bits of the frame. Cole Bikes does the aluminium swing arm. Rideworks do some of the CNC machining. They've got 76 Works who are doing their 3D printer partner, so they do custom cover and cable management parts. Bare frame. You can see that this is a lot of handmade UK stuff, which is all very exciting. The other feature, which is probably the most interesting, is that the geometry is similar to the Rocket Max. So you'd be like, okay, well, why are they doing another bike? Well, that's because this one has an external battery, because this is an EMTB.
What?
I know, Cotic's first. So it's a EP801 full power, so 85 newton meters, 600 peak watt hours on the battery. And I think the big story is that removable battery. They've done lots and lots of testing, and they've got lots of different iterations of the bike, including one that had a built-in down tube, but they realised it was just a big monster truck, and it wasn't the Cotic steel ride. So they went back to the drawing board and redesigned it. The logic of having two batteries is that you can have a smaller 418 watt hours or 504 watt hours. And you could take one with you, or you could leave one in the van. They're getting lots of mileage out of it with it as is, as a smaller battery, but they just like the fact that you can take it off and you can go and charge it inside. It's a really different approach. Some people...
bold move.
Yeah, isn't it? I think it's quite fun. Pricing for the gold build starts at £8,799, and the platinum, bit more jazzy, is £10,099. Interestingly though, and I think this is one of the first I've seen, you can get a frame with a shock, with the EP801 motor and XT cranks and chainring for £6,350. So you could do your own dream build. Interesting.
Right, now let me tell you about the new Rocky Mountain Element. This XC Classic gets a downcountry update.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Oh, what have you done there? Yeah, clever.
130mm fork, 120mm rear travel, 29er in small, medium, large and XL, 27.5 in extra small.
Okay, yeah.
Full carbon frame, that's the lightest they've created, but stiffer than the old model despite more travel, which is great. Flex pivot on the chainstay, seat stay, not unlike the Orbea Ois. 2 bottle mounts and a top tube tool mount, very nice. Progressive geometry, 65.5 head angle and a 76.5 seat angle in neutral. Tell me about the neutral.
Neutral, yeah, it's not the gearbox. It's because Rocky Mountain do this little flip chip.
Right.
They've got different iterations of it. This one's the Ride 4, so it's got 4 different geometries. And it's quite clever in the fact that it's tweaking the head angle, the seat angle, and also the bottom bracket height, but also some of the suspension kinematics. It's only got 4 options, so you don't have to get a complete mind melt on it. But
like that. Currently just 2 builds, Element Carbon 70GX transmission with Fox performance. That is at $6,999 and the Element Carbon 99XX transmission and flight attendant at $11,999 There is a frame only option with no shock at $2,999
New product from Crank Brothers, slider tyre lever kit. You go tyre lever kit?
Oh, I love tyre levers.
No, but I really love tyre levers.
No, I'm being serious. I do love tyre levers.
Well, one of the Crank Brothers' first products was actually a tyre lever, and it had this.
Is that right?
Yeah, it had this slide-out little doohickey, which you balanced on your QR. This is how long ago it was, and then you were able to slide it round because tyres were really light, and you could just slide round. But they changed it again, and there was like a guardrail because you could slide round again with the new version. But this one, they've realised that people are running burly enduro tyres, and sometimes they can be more than a handful to get on, and you might need more than just 2 hands. So you might think, what have they done? Developed a hand? No, these little nifty sort of rim clip things, and they've got 2 different versions, so for kind of thick and burly rims and narrow rims, and basically you can like plug them on to then help the tyre go on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is actually quite innovative. And these little plugs, you can choose which ones you want to go for, and they hold the tyre levers together. Pricing is $10, and that's got a lifetime warranty.
That has got Christmas present all over.
Hasn't it?
And it. MV Wheels have got the all-new M Series range out and all-new rim profiles across this range. Thanks, get ready for this, a culmination of 322 prototypes and 1,270 rims over a 4-year research and development project.
That is a big project. And the results that have come through are effectively 4 different wheels. So we've got M5 Pro, which is an XC race. So it's 20mm tall, but 30mm wide. Then we've got the M6, which is the everyday any trail. It's a confusing description, but it's Envy's. So it's 20.8mm. It's very specific there, but 32mm wide. And we're saying wide, that's the inner rim width. We've then got the M8, which is real world gravity. Again, that term is from Envy. So we're 20.9 tall, 32mm wide.
Can I do this next one, Owen?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
This is the M9 Pro, which is Ultimate Gravity Race. I like these descriptions.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
20mm tall and 32mm wide.
So all of the rims effectively you've got a wider front and narrower rear, apart from the M9, which is same, which is quite interesting. I think Crank Brothers, who did the Tyler we were talking about in the past, have done that with wheels in the past. Other people have done it when they built custom wheels as well. All of them are hookless, which is kind of de rigueur now, and everyone kind of runs that. The M9 has a special rim strip, which is meant to kind of do magical things in terms of helping keep the tyre more on it and stop pinch flats, which sounds quite magical.
It sounds helpful.
Yeah.
Pricing, M5, 29 a pair. They're 1,325 grams.
Wow, that's light.
That's light,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And that would be €2,300 for MV's 5-year factory warranty included.
That lightens your wallet. Okay,
It really does. M6 pricing, 29 a pair. 1,575 grams.
Okay.
And €2,898. MV's 5-year factory warranty included.
Good thing I've got that 5-year warranty, because that pricing is quite steep.
It is.
Last but not least is Last's new bike called the Clay.
The Clay? Okay.
Yeah. So Last, if you hadn't forgotten, because they've been around a little bit, but it might not have been on their radar. They're a German brand who have been around a while. I think Jonesy did a test on one of their DH bikes when he used to write for some sort of magazine. So I know, a magazine. It's like printed dead trees. It's weird stuff. It'll never catch on. This is their new shorter travel trail bike, 126mm at the rear, but with a 150 fork. And what's clever is, effectively, there's a triptych of bikes, the Glen and the Cole and the Clay, and they all fit together, and effectively the front triangle and the rear triangle are the same, but they're changing the linkage system in the middle, and it means that they've got 3 different bikes from one rolling chassis. So
Wow.
you can change all of it around. 4 sizes, reach grows from a 450mm to a 479 to 509 to 544, which I've got to say, the reach is huge.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a long bike. And head angles are 64.8 in 2 smaller sizes, and then it gets marginally slacker, 64.7 in the 2 larger sizes. And pricing is from €3,999. That's for a complete bike. And frame sets are available from €2,578. Interesting. Let us know in the comments if you're interested in, any of the things we've covered in the news. More expensive wheels do you like, or are you interested in that Last Clay?
I'm quite interested in the difference between the full bike price on the Clay and the frame-only price.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 2,578 is a lot for the frame-only.
Oh, I thought that was quite good value. Interesting.
Okay, the Bespoke Show in Dresden. We've got some highlights.
Yeah, little highlight reel. We didn't go this year, we went last year. We've got some awesome bikes. So first up is Leo's Velos, which is this wild paint job. It's a rigid fork, which is controversial, but it is a mountain bike because it's got a flat bar. I think
love
that's
the
really
zebra
fun.
camo. That is
yeah,
awesome.
It's good, isn't it?
Very cool, yeah.
Then we've got our old kind of favourites to a degree, which is Sour Cycles, who are from Dresden,
Nice
and they're making their bikes, isn't it?
Yeah, very
Just sort
nice.
of classic.
Yeah.
So that's the pasta party, which I think for a cross-country sort of hardtail is.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
the
pasta party. I think that's great. This is Double Chock, also from Sour Cycles. This is their full suspension bike.
Very nice.
Yeah, which has also been used to do lots of adventure racing.
Right.
There's a very good adventure racer who's on the Sour Cycles team. Another Sour Cycles, very sour heavy, but some of the best looking bikes for me were Sour Cycles. This one is a really nice custom paint job. I think it's on a pasta party, but for me it's like a retro 90s. We've got like a blue to silver colour fade, which is gorgeous.
Clean, isn't it? Really
yeah,
nice.
and then we've got the silver Manitou fork, which for me is just, it looks retro in a really good way.
I love that fork in silver. It looks so cool.
I'm not sure if Manitou do it in a silver, but if they don't, please can we get them in silver? And then last but not least, it's not all steel hardtails at the Dresden show. No, because there is Biker Head Composites, who you may know from doing 5 and 6 spoke composite wheels, which look kind of retro in like a spin wheels.
And Spinergy.
Yeah.
I used to run the Spinergy 4-spoke wheels. Yeah.
There we go. They've got a new hardtail, carbon hardtail. This one's got a lefty on, which I think is very good. Like a lefty. Very light, with sub 800 grams for a frame.
Wow.
Made in Europe, made in Portugal, and not that expensive. I think pricing is around €1,700.
And what's that crank?
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
That
Cane
is very
Creek.
nice, yeah.
Yeah,
Very, very
E-Wings, or E-Wings as they're now known, yeah. Yeah, all that from Dresden. So,
Very cool.
yeah, let us know what your favourites were in the comments below. Quiz time!
Yes, here's last week's question. Who was the bigger name racer at the time on the global racing team, teammate to Greg Minnaar?
Oh,
Yes.
because I guess Greg wasn't necessarily the big name, was he?
Yeah, and there's a part
Just a
two
kid.
to the question. They didn't race on orange bikes, unlike the rest of the Team Global program. So which brand did this person race instead?
Ooh.
Let's have some of our answers.
Okay. To be fair, I was quite impressed because previously we'd asked about Greg Minnaar and what bike he'd raced on, and there weren't that many correct answers. Yeah, but we've got quite a few correct answers, which is good. So we've got Tim. Yay! Hi, Tim. Global star at the time when Greg joined was Missy Jove.
Yes.
I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I have met Missy once. You probably met Missy more than once.
Missy a few times.
There we go. She was just, a phenomenon.
Global superstar, beyond mountain biking a little bit. She was one of those riders who just stretched out beyond the sport and brought in sort of a whole new audience. I mean, incredible rider and an absolutely amazing personality.
Oh, there you go.
Fantastic.
So Tim gets it right, and he also states that she was on a Foes.
Yeah, she was. That's absolutely right.
Almost gone the biffo with Jonesy on this one because he was very much like, no, she was on. I know, as if I'd never be able to beat Jonesy up. Like because he was like, no, they're all on oranges, and she was on an orange proto for I think maybe a bit of the season, but then switched to Foes, which is what she'd been on before.
Yeah.
And Eric as well,
Right.
he's got it right. He says Missy Jove rode on a Foes on Global, but there was a bunch of great riders on that team. It was a massive team. Sean McCarroll, a really, really fast Australian. Yeah. Michael Burkhold, I think he was from Brazil. Matti Liikainen from Finland. Nice
rider.
bloke, yeah, very good bloke. Unlucky in some ways, but smashing bloke. Mick Hanna, who is still racing now.
Yeah, on e-bikes.
Yeah.
We also got Matt Kellner for the quiz, Missy Jove on a custom Foes, and John Cannings gave us an answer. John Cannings, formerly of GCN Tech.
Yeah.
And in the office just next door.
Yeah.
Quiz, Missy Jove. Yeah, well done, John.
Just one pride point there, but thanks for taking part. So, another quiz this week. It's another one that you'll have to think on because I feel like people are getting engaged in the really nerdy ones.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not as inclusive as it should be. Maybe we should do simple ones. Let us know in the comments. Do you like the nerdier questions? Do you want to go for the question?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
I'll ask this question. Truss suspension was co-developed by a hive of MTB minds. But who? Pride points for each answer. Oh, that's a difficult one.
That is, isn't
That's
it? I
difficult. Really difficult. Some top mods.
Top mods. Love a top mod.
Yeah. First one, custom nuke-proof Scout from Neil. Custom painted nuke-proof Scout, 27.5, painted by me, Neil that is, and a work colleague. DT Swiss, M1700 wheels, Shimano SLS brakes, and Uberbike flat-out discs. Microshift Advent X Pro shifter and version 2 rear derailleur. Brand X 150mm dropper. Pill grips, which is great, and TMR, oi oi, limited edition saddle.
Yeah.
What a bike, look at that.
It's a banging paint job for a custom paint job. I think
It
that's
is,
brilliant.
I would never have said that was a...
No.
It just looks absolutely
Yeah,
perfect.
it's very good. And nice to see a new proof back.
Yeah.
Sometimes. This one is from Lael John, and he was looking, this is in 2013, he was hunting down some very short cranks. He's sort of gone a bit wild. He's got some white industry cranks that were 170. He's milled them down and machined them down to just 135. That is a short crank.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's really impressive. I mean, to bold call, white industry cranks aren't cheap. But yeah, it looks like a cracking job.
Yeah, you
Like
don't want to get that thread offline because you'd feel that every pedal stroke.
Yeah,
You've
you
done a
would.
good job.
I guess I just want to know more about the bike, what you put them on. I feel like if they're one industry, maybe it's a single speed. Has it got a really low bottom bracket? Is that the need?
Yeah, might be. Okay, let's dive into the comments, Owen.
Yes.
Especially from are gravel bikes a threat to the MTB industry conversation that we had. Tony O says gravel is a fad only. Controversial.
Yeah, not a fan. Whereas Andrew dives in with gravel is a gateway drug for roadies, and it gets more of them off-road and out of Lycra, and getting more people onto dirt can only be a good thing. I have to agree with that one. I think it's a really good idea.
I don't know about that because it goes the other way too. I mean, you could argue it's just a gateway drug back the other way. I don't know. I don't know.
Didn't think of that. Like it's a portal. It's not a gateway drug.
Portal.
Oh, gee.
Arch Enemy says, I just think they're pretty decent multi-purpose bikes. I only have 2 bikes in my garage, an all-mountain MTB and a gravel bike, thank goodness. Any kind of single track, I'm riding MTB. Any other riding scenarios, it's for my gravel bike.
There you go.
That's a very good way of looking at it.
Adventure Girl 96, she's got a co-worker that's thinking about getting into gravel. He asked me ideas on what to get, and she thought about it and said, well, actually just get one from a mountain bike company because you can't go wrong because the mountain bike people know what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's just valid. A little public service announcement. If you do have a colleague who's thinking about getting into road bikes, there are help centres to help you deal with that.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Okay, Francis Jockey, now he says gravel bikes feel like a throwback to the 90s MTBs. That's a good point. Just buy a 90s Cannondale with a head shock and stick some drop bars on it. Fantastic idea. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that now.
Haas Enduro says gravel is not a threat to MTB, it's an addition. He's just built a super expensive gravel bike and probably not ride it more than just Enduro bike, but it's still there. And Stephen Duran, 1664, this sparks off what you were saying about 90s bikes. We were talking about 90s bikes because we've got a Lorwell Leader, which was this sort of 2 forks and a rocker thing. He made by a flat track legend.
Yes.
Lorwell. And he just said it was really nice. And he wants to get one to put on his old Mantis, which is very retro. Maybe we'll do a dive into Mantis bikes.
I believe Mr. Lorwell starred in the fantastic movie On Any Sunday.
I'm still yet to see that.
What?
No, really?
You've not seen On Any Sunday?
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
You've got a treat coming there.
Yeah. Jackie, we've got a lot of comments here, so I'll just try and speed them. Gravel bikes are growing. They're borrowing lots of tech from mountain bike, but we should give sort of kudos to actually where we borrowed lots of technology, and that is the Lorwell era of motorbikes.
Yeah,
we've got a lot to thank the moto people for, so yeah. Very good.
We also featured an all-metal, mostly made in the USA, rear mech from Vivo. And Sco Billy, last comment here, says that Vivo mech looks absolutely dope. It does look good. I'd love to see a vid with Owen and or Anna going into ridiculous detail about it and maybe even taking it apart into all its pieces.
That would be just a joyous thing for me to do.
It almost sounds therapeutic to do.
Yeah, it would be. Maybe we'll watch this space. We'll try and get that happening.
What's them videos where it's all about the sound?
Oh, is that the
What's
ASMR?
ASMR. Let's ASMR that.
Yeah, we should.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Come on,
join us on our ASMR channel.
Yes.
And finally,
yes.
What are you looking forward to this week?
In all honesty, a donut and a coffee.
Nice, fair enough.
Down at the beach.
For just a small segment of that time, where maybe the first sip of and the first bite of the donut, you could watch 10 years of bike maintenance in just 5 minutes with me.
Oh, okay, yeah, right, I might do that. We've also got, only kidding, we've got a Wild Future bike. You won't tell me what it is.
No, it's so wild.
We've got a Wild Future bike, I literally don't know what bike I'm talking about.
Oh, it is mind-blowing. It is really incredible.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that, and we would really appreciate your attention on them because they're great vids. That's the end of the show, Owen.
Okay, well, if you've enjoyed it, let us know. Like, subscribe, it all helps.
Yeah, get involved in the comments, and we'll see you next time.